Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to break down the February 18th SSC MTS exam paper. And you might be asking, why just one paper? Well, because digging into a single exam can totally unlock the smartest way to prep for all of them. So let's get right into it.
It's a fantastic question, isn't it? See, the real secret to crushing these exams isn't about trying to memorize the entire universe of facts. Nope, it's all about spotting the patterns. When we look at what they actually asked, we can zero in on those high-frequency topics and put our energy where it's going to make the biggest difference.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's do a quick rapid-fire rundown of some of the real questions that popped up on the February 18th paper. Think of this as gathering our intel. This is the raw data we're going to use to build our winning strategy. All right, first up, we've got a question about the Kambala festival down in Karnataka. Now, what's important here? Notice this isn't some breaking news or current event. This is a question about India's deep, static cultural fabric. And that is our very first clue about where we should be focusing our study time.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, because this next question points to a huge pattern. They asked for the original name of Guru Angad, which was by Lehna. The thing is, we've been seeing this in recent exams. Questions about Sikh history are popping up over and over again. You're going to want to remember that.
And then they threw a literature question into the mix. Who wrote the novel Tamas? The answer, of course, is Bhisham Sahni. So, what does this tell us? It proves that the general knowledge section has some serious range. You've got to be ready for anything from festivals to famous books. And look at this. We're right back to Sikh history. Another question, this time asking who founded the Khalsa Panth. That was Guru Gobind Singh, way back in 1699. Now think about it. 2 questions on such a specific topic in a single paper? Come on, that is not a coincidence. That's a massive signal. And just to round things out, they even tossed in a basic science question straight from physics. When is displacement 0? It's simple, right? It's when you end up right back where you started. This just goes to show you need a pretty broad knowledge base, but your approach has to be super strategic. So let's take a step back. What's the big takeaway from all these questions? Well, the most crucial thing to see is that even though the topics seem all over the place, there's a really heavy focus on static general knowledge. We're talking cultural festivals, religious history, and major historical figures. This is our first major strategic insight. So, based on that insight, let's do a strategic deep dive into our first high-frequency topic, the Sikh gurus. I mean, since this keeps showing up, doing a quick, focused revision on this is probably one of the smartest study moves you can make right now. You know, the easiest way to start is with a simple timeline. Let's just create that mental framework. It all begins with Guru Nanak Dev, the founder of Sikhism, and goes all the way through to Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru who established the Khalsa. Just having this basic order in your head makes it so much easier to organize all the other facts. Okay, and here are the absolute must-know high-yield facts. These are the ones you really need to lock in. For example, Guru Angad Dev introducing the Gurumukhi script. That's a classic exam question. Then you have Guru Arjan Dev compiling the Adi Granth and building the Golden Temple. That's another huge one. And of course, Guru Gobind Singh founding the Khalsa. These are the core facts that they love to test. All right, let's shift gears to our second reoccurring theme because this one is just as important. UNESCO World Heritage Sites in India. You can pretty much bet on getting questions about these sites, where they're located, and maybe even the year they were added. It's another absolute staple of these exams. So here's a quick look at some of the major cultural sites. And honestly, a table like this is a perfect way to study. You've got the site, you've got its state, which, let's be real, is usually what they ask, and you've got the year it was inscribed. Agra Fort in UP, Ajanta and Ellora in Maharashtra, the Sun Temple in Odisha. See how this just lays it all out nice and clear? But hey, we can't forget about the natural sites. It's really important to know the difference between the cultural and natural ones. Here, we're talking about incredible places like Kaziranga National Park in Assam, Keoladio in Rajasthan, and the Sundarbans in West Bengal. And just like before, knowing the park and its state is absolutely critical. Okay, but here comes the curveball. This is the kind of tricky question the examiners just love to throw at you. Some sites, you see, aren't just in one state. And the perfect example of this is the Western Ghats. This is a classic trap question. So what's the key thing to know? You absolutely have to know which states it covers. A super common question format is something like, which of the following states is not part of the Western Ghats UNESCO site? And the answer is right here. It spans parts of Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. You gotta memorize this list, no doubt about it. Okay, so we've looked at the questions, we've done a deep dive on two major recurring topics. So what? What does this all mean for you and your prep? How do you actually turn this analysis into action?
Here's your game plan, plain and simple. First, always analyze past papers to hunt for these patterns. Second, make static GK a priority, especially that cultural and religious history we talked about. Third, create structured notes. I'm talking tables, lists, timelines, whatever works for you for these key topics. And finally, don't forget the details. Founders, locations, dates, that's the stuff that turns what you know into actual marks on the paper.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. The whole point of this today wasn't just to go over one paper. It was to give you a whole new way of thinking about how you study. So the real question I have for you is this. Moving forward, what patterns are you going to look for in the next paper you analyze? Because that, right there, is where the real learning starts.